Hello class. Basically, what we're going to do this week is I'm going to try and walk you through the whole process of going from sketch to modeling and then to the level design. So week 7, I believe I modeled this. It's an environment, very basic. It's called white boxing or gray boxing. It's basically what they would do in levels to create the kind of level, test the gameplay on there, and then when they're committed, then they'll go in and model the whole level. So what I've done here is just made this in Maya, then came and sketched on top of that and identified basically the bits and pieces that I'm going to need when I'm going to model it. So I'm going to need one with the hole inside the wall and one with a normal wall. I might want to put some fire here, I'm not too sure. We're going to need some pieces of wood over here. I can create the same piece and just scale it and rotate it in different ways. That's normal. I'll try to just find it from the Quixel library. I've got 3 bespoke things here. I've got this rag that kind of is like hanging here from the wall. I've got 3 stones that usually people would sit on, and also this altar here. And just like what we did in the first 2 weeks, I went in and I tried to put textures on this sketch. You can even see I didn't even differentiate the wood. I just put it there to kind of see what color spaces I'm working with. So it's going to be a very dry thing here, and it's going to be like kind of a stony wall. Now I've got this thing, this kind of color range in my mind, but I might just want to make it a bit more scary and put in some skulls or something in the end. But what I'll do is I'll basically go and define these pieces, bring them into Unreal Engine first, make sure that my human is basically going to sit in this place, right? Make sure the scale is correct. Then I'm going to go and make those bespoke elements, those pieces, set pieces that would then be copied throughout. So throughout this video there's going to be a lot of time lapse where we're just going to look at what I'm doing to get to the point. Alright, so basically here we go. So here we are. This is what I came up with. There's stones that sit there, and then we have the hole on top, and you can see that's how deep the hole goes. But these are just to kind of get an idea of what kind of place this is. So let's take this whole thing to Unreal Engine first. So now that we're here, I'm just going to create a new level here. Call it something like that. Save selected, open it. File Explorer. So usually what I do is I go to Mega Scans and just get a chair to put in my scene to understand how big the scene is and what the scale should be. So if I go to Boulder, Structure, Chair, there we go. So as you can see, that's a pretty small chair. Now I can either scale this up in here or go somewhere else, but I don't want to do that. I want to fix it in mind. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just select this chair and I'm going to export this as FBX. So when I export as FBX, I'll know the size of that chair. I can scale my scene in accordance and save it. So let's just go here, go chair for refer. Right, export. Now we go back to Maya, and in here I'm going to file import, and I'm going to import the chair. Now I have this chair. I can select everything except the chair. I can scale it up. Until my scene, it's kind of like these chairs. I mean, I don't want exactly the same size as the chairs, but the chair gives me a reference point. Kind of understand how big my scene should be. Just a bit bigger. So now, that's basically how big I want the scene to be. Alright, so I'm going to delete this chair. And I'm going to import that chair. But anyway, I'm going to select everything. Edit, delete all type by history. Now I'm going to take this and go to back to this file, export selection, FBX export selection. And I'm going to put it on desktop. Over here, new. So now if I go back in here, I'm going to actually just delete that. And delete that as well. Go back to my content. I can delete these two, force delete. So I can go back to that folder. Now with the new environment, I'm gonna also need to delete freeze transformations, right? So that everything is zeroed and one. Great. File. Export selection, new environment, yes. Now going back to Unreal, I'm going to cancel that and bring in my new environment. There we go. So if I put it in here right now, and put the altar in the center, I should have a more realistic camera angles and more realistic sizing for the scene. Now, this thing is gone below the surface, so I can just pick this up, bring it above the surface, there we go. Let's only go to 0, and also I'll pick this up and bring it up. So now if I go in and put any assets like or my mega scan assets, 3D assets and chair, it's going to feel like it's a realistic size. Now I could make the seat a bit bigger to make it more grand and to see how it feels. And that's a very large room. But it's better to start off with a scale that you want. So right now the scale here is 1.1. 1 is enough. Right. So now we got the scale down. We're gonna come and start building out these pieces. So what I'm going to do is basically I'm going to bring in piece by piece now instead of just one whole thing. So what I'm going to do is just kind of come in here and detach it from the rest of the mesh and separate it. There we go. For some reason the there we go, that's one of the pieces. Now to extract the other. We also want the ground. We don't need the ground per se, but I just want to have the size of the ground, just so that I know it's right. There we go. Edit. Detach, edge, separate. So now I can just delete this. I know I have this. That is my circle here. So I'm going to press insert. Just make sure that's the center of that. And that if I rotate it, it'll rotate around this sphere. can also kind of get it to snap to grid. So when I move it, that's the grid. Press insert, and I can snap it to the center of the world. Same with this. I'm going to press insert to move the pivot point. I'm going to move it and snap it to the center of the world. So why did I do that? Well, basically, it's easy for me to understand what the center of the world is, so that if I choose to copy these across, I know I have to rotate by how much? By almost minus 40 degrees. And I have my pieces set. So if I keep doing that, I can get my model. So I have these two. I can just rotate this by minus 40 degrees. X. So minus 20. There we go. And it doesn't have to be exact. It's just I want to get an idea of what I'm working with. So that's my two set pieces. I've accidentally deleted everything else. So I'm gonna also insert, move this to the center of the world. There we go. Insert. And same thing here. Center of the world. I'm going to import my new environment again. This time I'm going to rename these. So ground. Ground, this one altar, wall 2, and wall 1. So if I look underneath here, these Alright. Right here line outside. Delete this. There we go. Now if I import again, I should get the old filing back. The seats are very simple to figure out. The other parts very simple. happened here? Away from the center. Alright, that's what we need right now. So let's just export that. File, save as. Now we come to, here we go. So we have the floor. We can move that to 0, 0, 0. But if you don't want to do this every time, you can just take all the assets and put them here. Okay, that's good. Yeah, 0. There we go. So now that we did that, now we have these pieces here. So I can go to my light lister and make sure I create a atmospheric light. And I can go lit. I can create a skylight. Right. Sky. Now I got the color right. And I don't need volumetric clouds or anything at this point. I just want to be able to see the shapes. So I know that's my little piece here. This will ensure anything I bring in will be the right size. Structure, what is this? I bring this in, this is the right size. Alright, so we're gonna start by modeling this thing here. Let's go. So what I'm gonna do here is basically just make another variation of this wall so that it doesn't repeat too much, if that makes any sense. So going back to my project here, you can see that I have 1, 2, 1, 2. So every green wall right now we've modeled, and the blue one. But I want to create one more variation for the green one so it's more varied, if that makes any sense. Let's get to that. All right, now that we've created this 3 walls, so one is the one here with the empty mouth where we would be able to place fire or something inside, and the other 2 walls are the flat walls. Now I can come in here and basically select all of one of them, and while rotating hold down Alt and kind of duplicate that whole thing. I'm duplicating a lot of different objects, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm not going to duplicate it like that. One option is I can right click on it and group the selection. Now every time I select a group, it already selects everything for me. The problem with that is that the pivot point jumps over there, and I don't like that. So we're going to Control Z. And another thing we can do is come here to basically, this is your creation and this is your blueprint, and then convert selection to blueprint class, right? So we got an actor here, and we're gonna child actors, harvest components, replace the selected actor with instance of new blueprint class. So replace selected actor with instance of new blueprint class, whatever it is. I'm going to name this here. I'm going to call it wall flat, and this is type 1. And I'm probably just going to put it in my content assets, that's called mesh, and select. Now if I go over here, I should see, there it is, I should see this. Now I have this here selected. I can basically take them all out or select this and make it invisible. So now my reference object, we set it to invisible. My rendering is also hidden in game. You can do that. So you could see it in here, but then it's hidden only in game. So we're just gonna close that up. And now that's right there for us. Now let's say I wanted to add another one of those. If I go to mesh here, we're flat, and done, we're here again. Now if I move it to 0, 0, 0, place. So I can go and just rotate it around my center world. So this is how you kind of use these different elements and, to construct the whole wall. So let me go ahead and do it for these two other walls and just start duplicating it until I have a full surrounded cave of these structures. Okay? So I think now you can see basically we've got it all surrounding. There are some holes in the wall, but the problem is the light is seeping through because some of them don't have a proper backing. So same thing as last time, we're gonna construct a cave. So how I'm gonna do that is basically I'm going to start making my geometry. I'm gonna make a cylinder somewhere here, bigger. Alright, so now that we've created something we're happy with the environment, I want to get started on painting some textures on the floor. But before we begin, basically what's happening is vertex painting needs a lot of vertices. So we're going to go into Maya and we're going to create a floor with a lot of vertices. So I'm just going to create a plane here. There we go. I'm going to go to mesh and I'm going to smooth it. There we go. That's about pretty good what we want, but the scale is off, so make sure to go here, freeze transformations, edit, delete, type by history, and I'm gonna export selection. I'm gonna export it as round. So we're gonna go to Unreal Engine here, and we're gonna go to our week, bring in the ground, right, and we're gonna bring in the ground here. And the ground is pretty low down on the floor, so we're gonna bring it up until it's touching. So it's basically where it needs to be. We can come in here and just zero everything out, because in Maya we already had placed it on 0, 0, 0, so we don't need to think about that very much. So, you know, you need 3 materials to paint. It can only be 3 because it's RGB channels. So we're gonna go to Quixel Bridge here and basically download some materials that we want to do. And we're gonna, let's say we download this material, and this material. And then I'm gonna hit this button here. I can close Quixel, but that window will still be open right here. So let's go to the textures we just downloaded. We have a bunch here: stone floor, roots. Not sure what that is, but let's go. So we need to organize this a bit here. So I'm just gonna take this and put it in materials here, advanced copy here. So basically, saving selected. No, actually, let's go and move here, because I want my materials that I use to be in my material folder. So I'm just gonna move it there. It says there's already one there. Move this one there too. I think we're good. So we have a bunch of materials here. So we can select some of these materials. Let's say this one, and this one. These 3 are the ones I like. And I'm going to go here and just not worry about these. And I'm gonna call this matte and ground. and I can put it wherever I want. I'm just gonna put it into my assets material, and I'm gonna create that material blend. So now it's created one for me here, and I can drag and drop this matte blend ground to my ground here. And what I'm gonna do from now on is I'm gonna make sure to give myself some room here. I like to save all once in a while, and I'm gonna go here to basically mesh paint and paint. So now I can paint with the red channel, and you can see these points pop up. I can change the size of my brush, and I can just paint away, right? And I can paint different channels to get different materials. Now let's say you want to have water. I mean, in the desert here we wouldn't have much water, but let's say we had some water and we wanted to create a puddle. Well, that matte blend ground material that we created, we open it up and we use a puddle layer. And there we go, we can close it. And when we close it, then we can come here and paint with the blue channel, I think. And just like that. And create the water. Hold on a second. Just paint with the blue channel. What if I swap? Well, apply, import. What if I fill it with the blue channel? What if I fill it with the green channel? And fill it with the red channel. So if I open it, I've got a base layer, and I've got the middle medium material, and top layer, and where's my puddle? Let's see if that works. Oh, it is puddling. There we go. You can see the reflections here. So I'm just gonna fill it with the first one. Maybe it's this one here, or this one here. Fill. There we go. So if we fill it with red, I'm bringing some green here in the material. There we go. And I can just come in here and paint where there is. Make my brush bigger and some fall off. Start just painting in different things here. All right. What about blue? I think blue is the one that makes it wet, just like that. I can hold shift to undo that and then shift again. Make some wet areas. So you can always go in and just start to paint. You can also go to swap and just swap the materials of certain areas and paint that stuff in. So yeah, that's how you basically paint the different materials and create your scene. I hope that was helpful. I haven't modeled any altar here yet, but you can see it's coming together just fine.